Like, so like this thing, like if I go to school because get a scratch and I come over and have
All right. You are going to have to be quiet because there's 2 other classes that's trying to listen. So I don't want you to say anything else unless your hand is up and you have my permission. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do is go over the answers to the bell ringer.
Ain't going. More.
All right, question 1.
Ain't for the wonder. It's gonna be a hunch on the back.
All right, it says a team's ratio of wins to losses is 3 to 4.
16.
So the first thing I need to do is make a chart. I'm gonna make a chart of wins and losses.
3, 4, 3 at the top, 4 at the bottom.
Did you not understand when I said the only time you're supposed to talk is if your hand is up and I ask you a question?
How do you say that?
All right, so Shanicia, tell me my ratio of wins to losses.
12.
Look, read the first sentence, baby. Look at it. What does it say? All right, so 3 to 4. It says, how many losses do they have if they have 12 wins? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do my multiplication facts for 3 because if the first one is 3, I add another 3 to get the second one. So that would be 6. I add another 3, that's 9. Another 3, 12. Another 3, 15. I do the same thing at the bottom with my losses. My losses are 4. So if I keep going, there's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. My question says, how many losses do they have if they have 12 wins?
16.
So I go to the win column, find 12. How many losses? 16.
Me too.
All right. Question number 2. You need to take yours. So you get yours off my desk and go across the hall. Go look at that green paper right there. Thank you, Francesca. And go across the hall and take it for me.
Hey, the bump it down.
All right. Number 2. All right. It says the cost of 3 quarts of milk is $6.75. 3 quarts, $6.75. So how would I write that, Lanaya, as a ratio? Okay. Now, what does this fraction bar mean? Divide. So $6.75 divided by 3. Now, Jacayla, if I divide 3 into $6.75, what is that going to give me?
221.
No. Jacayla, what am I going to get? I don't want my answer. What am I looking for? When I divide, what am I looking for? How much each quart costs, right? So we're going to divide it. 3 goes into 6 2 times. Bring down your 7. 3 goes into 7.
6, 25.
3 goes into 15. All right, so 1 quart of milk costs $2.25, but I want the cost of 5. So I'm going to do $2.25 times 5.
And then you go ahead and
So the cost of 5 quarts would be $11.25. Okay. All right. Number 3, 6 students in a class received a perfect score on a math test. This is 25%. So 6 goes with what? 25%. Both of these are what? Parts. Good. This is a part, and this is a part. So that means my parts go in my numerators, right? So
Yeah.
6 is on one side, 25 is on the other side. Now, 25%, what is my whole? 100. And we're looking for this part,
25.
right?
It's 25.
Are we looking for how many out of 6?
Yes.
Yes.
25.
We can't know. It's 6 is 25%. So we're looking for the whole 100% because it says how many students are in the class. So we're looking for the whole part. Now, what did I tell you? Because 6 and 25 do not have anything in common. So what do I need to do with the 25%? Reduce it. All right. So 25% is what? How can I reduce 25%? 1/4. Good. So 6 and 1/4. All right. So 6 to 1. What do I have to do? Divide by 6. So I don't know what to divide by 6 here, but I can do the inverse, which is what? Multiply by 6. And this answer is 24. Now, I'm going to show you the other part that we did the last time. I'm going to show it to you in a table. All right. So we got 6 and 25%. So if we keep going, what's going to be here? 12. And what's going to be here? 50%. Then what's here? 18. And what's here? And then
24.
Okay, so you could do this, okay, or you could do this. Either one, you're still going to get the same answer. Okay. Either one, you'll get the same answer. All right, let's look at the next. All right. It says there are 16 ounces in a pound. How many ounces are in 5 pounds? So what will we do here? Multiply. Because 16 goes with 1. 32 goes with 2. 48 goes with 3. 64 goes with 4. And 80 goes with 5.
Good job.
It wasn't a business call. It was just our money. Be quiet. All right, let's look at the last problem. It says a hairstylist schedules appointments every 1/3 hour. How many appointments can she schedule in 6 hours? All right, so what is my total? How many hours do I have? That's 6 hours, right? And how many appointments do I schedule? 1/3 every hour, right? So how many thirds are in an hour? 3, right? So how many thirds would be in 6 hours? 18. So the answer to number 5 is 18.
I made 18.
All right. So this is what this one looks like. You have 6 hours, and you're going to divide it by 1/3. 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. So that's 18 appointments.
Or you can do this.
5, 4, 3, 2. Let me tell you the instructions again. If you will like to talk, you are going to have to raise your hand. Yes, ma'am.
I just did 6.
Same thing. Okay, because you know there are 3/3 in 3, right? 3/3 make 3. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, ma'am. No, 18 divided by 1 is just 18. That's it. All right. The next thing we're going to look at is the standards mastery test from the other day. I'm gonna go over the answers because I want you to understand what you did wrong. If you failed the standards mastery test, like if you didn't pass it, if you're not at least in the yellow, you will have a retake next week. All right, and that will be on just divide fractions. Okay, so I'm going to go to I read it and log in.
I got a question. How you gonna know where we gotta take this test?
I'll let you know. All right, so I'm going to go over each question.
What is that?
All right. First question. All right. First question. Kyra. Would you work this one? You know, when I say go down, just go down on the side. All right. So the first question, it says, Carrie wants to find the value of 3 divided by 3/4. Now, the very first thing you want to do is solve the problem first. If you would solve the problem first, the rest of it will be easy.
They hear us.
Now, everybody should know how to solve
Man, 4 and 1. Man, 58. Man,
division problems because the way to solve a division problem is to multiply by the reciprocal, right?
where am I? Start class. My name is Dale Morgan.
All right. So the first thing we need to do is solve the problem. 3 divided by 3/4. Now, the easy thing to do is add a 1 here and cross multiply. That's the easiest thing to do. All right. 12 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now, when we're looking at our model, we have 3 whole parts and we're dividing them into 3/4, right? So that means we need 3 whole parts and we need 4 spaces in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this could work and this could work, right? Because these 2 models go all the way to what? 4. We only want to start with 3. That's what we start with, 3. So we're either looking at this one or this one, right? Now, my answer says there are 4 3/4 and 3. 1, 2, 3, that's 1. 1, 2, 3, that's 2. 1, 2, 3, that's 3. 1, 2, 3, that's 4. So your answer should be D. Okay. And then part B says, what is 3 divided by 3/4? And your answer should be what? 4. That's the first answer. Okay. No, you can't. You wouldn't be able to put the fraction there because the computer doesn't recognize the fraction. You need the whole number. All right. Question 2. It says drag a number into each box to explain how to solve 2/3 divided by 1/6. You can use a common denominator to rewrite 2/3 divided by 1/6 as blank divided by blank. So the first thing we need to do is rewrite as a common denominator. Okay, so we got 2/3 and we got 1/6. Now, what is a common denominator between 3 and 6? 6. Now, if you look at your answers, you got a 6 here and you got a 2 here. But 4/12 is not the same as 2/3, right? So that doesn't work. Okay, so our denominator is 6. Now, 3 times what is 6?
2.
So 2 times 2 is what? 4. So what should go here?
4, 6.
4, 6. So you're going to pick up 4, 6 and put it there. All right. 6 times what is 6?
1.
So 1 times 1 is
1.
So 1/6 is the same as 1/6. Okay. Now you have 4/6 divided by 1/6. So anytime your problem is written like that, you're trying to figure out how many 1/6s are in 4/6s. So when you get ready to complete your box, how many 1/6s are in 4/6s? And what is your answer? Okay, 4 divided by 1 is what?
4.
And 6 divided by 6 is 1. 4 divided by 1 is 4. So your answer should be 4. Okay. So the way go back, Kyra. The way the test work, they'll tell you which ones you got right, and then it's just going to be a percentage. So I don't know exactly how much they count, but every one you get right, they'll give you a check mark, and then they'll calculate it themselves. Okay. All right, Kyra, let's go to 3. All right. It says, which problem does the number line model represent? Now, the easiest thing to do in this one, we got a model, right? What do these circles give us?
4.
Our what?
Our
answer, right? So all we have to do is pick the problem that has an answer of 2. Okay? The other thing to that, Francesca, the other part to that, if you don't want to do that, let's see, where did we stop?
4/10.
4/10. So that's our first number. All right. Now, look at the bottom, right? 2/10, 4/10, 6/10, 8/10, 10/10, right? So the bottom is in tenths, right? So we're going to take 4/10 divided by some number, and that answer should be 2. Because our model shows us there are 2 of something in 4/10, right? So what fraction goes here?
1.
1/10, right? What fraction goes here?
3/10.
And then,
17. 9.
right? So the bottom is broken into 10 parts, right? But how many do we circle to get our answer? 2 of them. So 4/10 divided by what? 2/10. Right? Now, how can you check that? Work it out. 4 times 10 is 40. 2 times 10 is 20. And 40 divided by 20 is 2. Right? Okay, if we did this one, this is going to give us what? 8 over 10. This one is 8 over 10. This one is
40.
oh, wrong way. 20 over 40. I did this one wrong too. I forgot. You always start this way like an X. Start here and then start there. Okay. So 20 divided by 40 is what? That's just a half, right? Because if I have a regular fraction, regular fractions just get reduced. Improper fractions turn into whole numbers or mixed numbers. Okay? So that's the difference in a fraction and an improper fraction. They're not the same because division is not commutative. You cannot switch division and get the same answer.
No.
One is going to give you a fraction, one is going to give you an improper fraction. All right, any questions about that one? All right, Kyra. All right. This one says, Gina has 7/8 pounds of nuts that she wants to divide equally into 4 bags. How can Gina determine the amount of nuts she can put into each bag? All right. So Gina must divide a blank by a blank. So let's look at our first choice. Gina must divide a fraction or a whole number. What is she dividing?
Fraction.
She's dividing a fraction by a what? Whole number. All right. The amount of nuts in each bag, would they be less than 7/8 or greater than 7/8? Less. Because 7/8 is a what? Come on, Karen.
It's a part.
Because 7/8 is what? Divided by 4. So if we got a fraction and we're gonna divide it by a whole number, aren't we gonna get a smaller fraction? All right, so 7/8 divided by 4 over 1. All right, so that is 7 times 1.
7.
And 4 times 8.
32.
So that's your answer. 7, 30 seconds. Okay. Don't go yet, Kyra. All right. So you understand that why did we not put 4 first? So, raise your hand. One person. Why did we put 4 first? Why did we put 4 first? Not necessarily that it's a whole, but what, Francesca?
But it came after the word. No.
Lauren?
Because you can't divide whole numbers by fractions.
You can, but it's something else. Kyra?
Because it says Gina has 7/8 pounds of nuts, and then divided equally in 4 bags.
Okay, so are we dividing the bags or are we dividing the nuts? The nuts. So we're taking the nuts and putting them in the bag. We're not taking the bags and putting them in the nuts, right? Okay, but you have to understand, if you really paying attention, that's what you're doing. You're dividing peanuts, right? If I had a box of peanuts, I'm giving them to 4 people. I'm not taking the bag and dividing it into the peanuts. Okay. That's right. If I was doing that, I would have put the 4 first. But I'm dividing it into 4 bags. All right. Okay. So now we are going to take we're gonna take models and we're gonna find the problem that goes with it. But look at it this way. Where did they stop? 3/4, right? So that's going to be our first number. And then they divided it
It's a 3 part.
into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They divided into 12 parts.
9 over 12.
And how many was in each part?
3.
3.
3 was the E.
Right?
3.
Yeah.
They divided into 3 parts. So, what is 3 times 12? And 4 times 3? And what's 36 divided by 12? 3. So, let's go down and see if we have that answer down there.
Right there.
All right? So, pick that up and put it there. All right. Now, let's look at,
Wrong one.
oh, it's this one. We mustn't go all the way up to the top.
Okay.
All right. So, let's look at this one. All right. What's my first number on this one? Where did they stop?
1/2.
1/2. And they divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The 1 8.
And how many 8?
4.
No, 2 8.
Each.
No, that one's not right. They only divided by 1 8 because 1 times 8 is what?
8.
Divided by 2 times 1 is what?
2.
And what's the answer?
4.
And isn't it 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
All right, so go find that one.
Which one's that name?
So 1/2 divided by 1 8.
8.
It's not divided by 8 whole parts, right? No. All right, now this one. Now, is a fraction going to come? Are we dividing a fraction or are we dividing whole parts?
Whole part.
Whole parts. How many whole parts?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We got 5 whole parts. And now let's see what we're dividing them into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of what? 6, 7, 8. 5 out of 8, right? All right. So that would be 40 divided by 5, which is 8. Do we have 8 circles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. So that's 5 divided by 5 eighths.
Right there.
5 divided by 5 eighths. All right. How many whole parts do I have? 4 whole parts. And I'm dividing it into 1, 2 out of 5. So that's 4 divided by 2/5. Okay. You understand that?
Yeah.
How to take the model and find your problem. All right. Ryan has a board that is 5 feet long. How many 1/3 foot sections can he cut from this board? We don't even have to do that, right? That should be in our head. How many sections can he cut? 15. Because 5 times 3 is 15. Because this is a unit fraction, 1/3. So how many thirds make 1? 3. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15.
I got this one.
All right. Evangeline has 3/5 of a box of nuts. She uses it to fill 6 bowls. What fraction of the box does she put in each bowl? So what are we doing? We're taking these nuts and we're pouring them into a what? A bowl. So we take 3/5 and we divide it by 6 over 1. Right? So 3 times 1 is 30. Oh, 3. And 6 times 5 is 30. Now what can go into 3 and 30? 3. How many 3s are in 3?
10.
How many 3s are in 30?
6.
Okay, so that's my answer, 110.
110.
Okay.
110 a box.
1/10 of a box. All right, number 8. Jaden, turn around and be quiet. Please. All right. Maxwell buys a bag of dog food that contains 18 cups of food. He feeds his dog 1.5 cups a day. Maxwell says he will be able to feed his dog for 27 days. Is he correct? All right, so let's look at that. Maxwell can write the division expression. Blank divided by blank. So what would it be? 18 divided by
21.
1.5. Okay, because it says he feeds his dog 1.5 cups every day. So I'm gonna take that food and I'm gonna divide it by days, right? All right. How many days to find out how many days he can feed his dog from a bag of dog food? He can then simplify to find that he can feed his dog for. Now let's work that out. So 18
12 days.
divided by 1.5. Now 1.5, I have to change it to what?
And proper number.
3/2. So 18 times 2 is what? 18 36. And 3 times 1, that would be 12. So he can feed his dog for 12 days. So Maxwell is correct.
It's not. What you mean?
He said 27.
He said 27. What you mean he is?
Oh,
Yes, I would. He's
okay. All right. We have 2 more questions. Pay attention. All right. Polly has 2.5 cups of cereal. How many 3/4 cup servings can she make? Will she have any left over? All right. Now, so what are we going to do? Divide, right? So how much cereal does she have?
2/3.
2.5. Now, let's change 2.5 to a improper fraction.
5/2.
So that's 5 halves divided by 3/4. All right, that's 20 divided by 6.
And then you go get it.
Now, how many 20s, how many 6s are in 20?
4. No, 3.
And what's left over?
18. I mean 2.
2 over.
Yeah. All right. So 3 and 2, 6, right? Because 6 times 3 is 18 plus 2 is 20. So that's 20.
6 and 2/3.
It's 3 and
Oh, 3 and 2.
All right. So Holly can make how many full servings? 3. She can make 3 full servings. So 3 full servings would be 3 times 3/4 because that's 1 serving, right?
Yeah.
So 3
Yeah.
times 3/4 is what? 9/4. And 9/4 is what? How many 4s are in 9? 2.
Did you flip
And
it?
what's left over?
1.
Did you flip it?
4.
All right. So which will use 2 and 1/4 cups of cereal. There will be how much left over? Now, we started with 2.5, right? So 2.5, how many halves make,
1.
how many fourths make a half?
2. No.
2/4 make a half, right? All right, so 2 and 2/4 minus 2 and 1/4 is what?
1.
1/4. So you got 1/4 of a cup left over.
Yay.
Okay. The only thing you still had to divide, but you had to interpret. That's what the standard says. When you the first part of number system says you have to be able to interpret and divide fractions using models and the standard algorithm, right? So you have to be able to interpret what that means. When you divide this, you got to understand what you're doing, right? So if you have a whole number lets you know how many full parts you can make. So I can do 3 full 3/4 cup servings. That's where I got the 2 1/4 from. That's how much is the 3 of these. Then I got a 1/4 left over because I had 2 1/2, which is 2 2/4. So 2 2/4 take away what I actually used. It's gonna give me a 1/4 of a cup left over, right? So they actually need 2 more 1/4s to make a full serving. They don't have a full serving yet. They got a third of a serving. All right, last question. All right, Ms. Hernandez writes this expression on the board. She asks her students to write a word problem that could be used solving the expression. Which word problem could be used solving? Which word problem could be solved using the expression? All right, 1/2 divided by 3 1/6. All right, so let's go look at all of them, Kyra. Okay. It says a rectangular piece of land has an area of 1/2 square mile. The land is 3 1/6 miles long. What's the width? All right. So if you get a total and a part, can't you divide that to get the other part? Right? Because the total is what? Well, area, 1/2 square mile. So that's your total. That's the area. So 1/2 divided by the other part, which is 3 1/6. All right. Bella has 3 1/6 cups of yogurt. How many 1/2 cup servings can she make? What would that look like? How much does she have? 3 1/6. And she want to know how many 1/2s are in that. Rodney drives half of the distance to his house in 3 1/6 hours. At this speed, how long will the entire trip take? So half the distance. All right. A chef has 3 1/6 pounds of beef. He uses a half to make stew. How many does he have left? Have left means what? Subtract. So this would be your answer. All right. So what's the answer? So we're gonna have 1/2 divided by 19/6, which is 6 out of 38. What can go into 6 and 38? What can go into 6 and 38? 2, because it's an even number, right? 2 can go into all even numbers. So that's 319. Chris, 1 can go into any number. So when they ask for what number can go into another number, never say 1. It's either gonna start with 2 or 3 or 4, like that. Because 1, any number times itself is, any number times 1 is itself. So we'll never be able to reduce that way if we divide by 1. Because we just gonna get that number back. Okay, so when you reduce even number, you can always reduce it by 2. Or 4. Okay. Where 2 can't, then go to the next number, which is 3. If 3 can't go in it, go to the next number, which is 4, like that. All right, so if you didn't pass that test, which, like I said, if you get at least 50%, you should be okay. Okay. So we are going to review at the same time, move on, because our next lesson is dividing whole numbers. Okay. All right. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, okay, is everybody get up so we can move around some. We're gonna do vocabulary. So everybody just stand up beside your desk. All right. You're gonna have to pay attention. Jalen, get on that side. Just move around and go back to your seat. Everybody should just be behind their head.
Here's a little lesson. Let's show you how to do it in an easy way.
Do it. No more, you don't. Can't get any more. Get her on. Someone forward to the phone.
Okay, move around. 5, 4, 5, 6. Get out my desk.
Young Toil.
You get it. 132. 11 is 12. Now let's see if you can do the division all by yourself. Yeah, can you do it by yourself? 11 and 12. 11 and 12.
Yep.
Get up. You go behind your head. Get out there. Get up behind your head.
When it comes to dividing by 12, you might need a little help.
Yeah.
When it comes to dividing by 12, you might need a little help. Ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Together, let's go.
All right, pay attention.
Good count. Might need a little help.
Divided by 12 is 10. Divided by 12 is 36 divided by 12 is 3. 24 divided by 12 is 2. Yeah. 12 divided by 12 is 1. Hey.
All right, that's it. Sit down.
Divided by 11 is 3. Can you do it by yourself?
All right. Now, we are going to look at division today. Dividing whole numbers. So the first thing we are going to do is look at our vocabulary words. We are going to make a photo of the vocabulary word. So everybody's going to get a white sheet of paper. All right, if you got extra, just pass it to another group. Alright, so everybody needs, you can put. Alright, everybody should have one sheet of paper. Alright, everybody should have one sheet of paper.
Hey y'all, my name is Jalen Moore. Today I will be podcasting for weather. Today it's sunny and it's hot. Alright, y'all. So today, y'all make sure y'all drink a lot of water. Cause it's gonna be hot outside today, y'all know what I'm saying. So drink a lot of water. WPBT News, bye. Okay, tomorrow it's gonna be sunny. It's gonna be cloudy a little bit tomorrow. So everybody, it's gonna be a strong hurricane tomorrow. Get a lot of water. Drink a lot of water, drink a lot of water, drink a lot of water. You never know what happens. And a lot of houses are going to be going and torn down. So get your water, kids. And one more thing I want to tell y'all before I leave the podcast. That this is the weather show for now. Opening for 11 months. You know? So I got my own weather show. Tomorrow it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold. Wear a jacket. Yeah, wear a jacket. It's gonna be cold. And it's gonna be a little sunny after that. No, dude, don't say it. Hey, dude, don't say that. This is my weather show. Hey, this is WDTV. Don't phone. Yo, Jacoby. Hey, it's gonna be hot, sunny, rainy. So y'all get ready. It's gonna be changing. It's gonna be like boo boo boo. So y'all get ready. You know, peace out, y'all. Meet up at the skate ring on Saturday. You know we about to turn up. Alright, y'all. You gotta watch the show. Peace. Oh, you know what's good. Oh, you saw when I was fake to you. Today is the one show, Miss Chunky back.
I guess you just want people to hear you. Is that what it is? Because I don't know why you acting so silly.
I was just silly.
For nothing.
I was just silly.
No, you're not just doing anything but acting silly. That's all you're doing.
Oh shit. You ready for
All right, so you are going to fold your paper in half like a hamburger. Fold the paper in half. That's just a hamburger fold. I didn't name it that. Just take it for what it is. How about that?
Yeah. Instead of being Greek all the time.
Now you the one that said something about it.
All right. So fold the paper,
Take what you get.
hamburger
You know,
style like that. All right, fold it again.
I like
The same way.
remember the hamburger one? Yes. Are you?
Yes.
What is that?
Fold it again.
Another hamburger? Triple it.
And then the last time fold it like this.
I mean,
And then fold again to make it continue.
What type of him?
So no, don't fold no more. All right.
big man. Let me see how much I got.
All right. So it's in 16 pieces, right?
On my stuff, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where's home? Y'all be doing like
All right. So all you gotta do is just.
I said I like it like that.
All right. So you got 16 squares, right? All right. So I want you to take one vocabulary word and put it in a square.
I don't have a pencil. No.
So you will put it's on the H. All right, it'll be all right.
You can do this. You can put the words
All right, so I'll tell you how to do it. All right.
people that there's somebody watching and they see it, right like that.
All right. So the first word is divisor. So put that into your first square. Don't write so big because you gotta write something else in. I mean, I don't write that big. Divisor is the first one. Yeah.
This looks ugly.
All right.
Miss Thompson,
The next word is dividend.
it say you got 2%.
So write in the next square dividend. The next one is quotient. The next one is mixed number.
I got no little up here thing.
All right. Uh-huh. All right. The next word is improper fraction. I skipped a space. Improper fraction is here. Just skip a row. Then reciprocal. Then multiplicative inverse. The next one is numerator. And then the last two, we're just gonna put them in the middle right here. Denominator and interpreter. We're gonna put those in the middle. Okay, so those are the 10 vocabulary words.
Yes, Tom.
Ma'am,
Did you ever get in touch with Amy's mom?
I did not.
Okay.
Just do the short sleeve and I'll just tell her I did it.
You doing 2 extra large short sleeve?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. All right.
She ain't gonna make the full hour. She might. 30. I bet I'm gonna hit it. Until she done recording. How many people on there? You got official too. Oh, nobody watching it no more. So that means you can do that. Nobody.
All right, a divisor is a number that divides the dividend.
We got that example.
How come?
Just write it in the same block.
We got to do an example. Ms. Thompson, we doing the example too.
Just write the example where I tell you, and I'm gonna show you how to do the other part. Just write it in the block that it goes with. Number that divides the dividend. Write it in the same block. The dividend is the number that is to be divided. The quotient is the number that results from dividing. And the result is your answer.